Välkomna till genomgång av advisory ringmetoden. Vi har just bestämt att vi gör det på engelska så att alla får träna att göra det på engelska eftersom det blir på engelska där på Arkada på torsdag 2:30 till 5. So we will switch to English. But first let's take a round so that those who will see this afterward knows who are here. If you can start, Len. Mm-hmm.
My name is Lena Björkqvist and I'm a senior lecturer in arts management in Metropolia University of Applied Sciences.
Yes, and my name is Sirke Pekkilä and I'm a project manager in the University of the Arts, and I'm dealing with the projects and with different cultural fields and society and this mixture and cooperation.
And my name is Angeli Brune and I'm the planner for the Luckan integration activities. And Luckan is an NGO working with integration.
Okay, and my name is Anders Derefalk and I'm responsible for economic and project administration here at Luckan.
And you also are head of the board of Proats and Business.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, who is supplying the 3,000 euros for the idea that we will win the pitch competition through AF Lindstedt Fund.
And my name is Kaisa Larjoma and I'm communications officer at the Creative and Inclusive Finland project, and I'm working at the University of the Arts Helsinki.
And my name is Anki Helberg-Sågfors and I work here at Luckan for Creative and Inclusive Finland project. And this advisory ring method has been developed by NASA and some adventurers. Pata Degerman from Finland he wanted to use a method to make impossible things possible, because he wanted to go to places where nobody else had been, and he wanted to find funding for that and equipment and a crew and all that, and he didn't know how to do it because nobody else had done it. So he was in Antarctica and NASA was there as well, so he talked to them that how do they develop new things and how do they develop new ideas. So they told him some ground rules, that they always have 7 people in a group, no matter what they do when they are developing ideas, because 7 is enough brains to get a lot of different perspectives and inputs on an idea. It's also an uneven number, so if you need to vote, there is a winning vote, it cannot be even. And then also that it's important to be secluded from the rest of society and not be disturbed while you are developing ideas. And then he added some other things. Yes, they also said that it's very good if you are from different disciplines so that you get different perspectives. So he developed this further and has used it together with other people, where they go away for a day and they tell their family and friends they will not be reachable, and they leave their mobile phones in another room and switch them totally off, and then they have everybody gets 1 hour. So there are 7 people, they get 1 hour each, so it's a 7-hour day plus lunch in between, so you need like 8 hours to do it kind of properly. And then you need to have food and beverages so that you can take pauses and get something to eat and then continue. So what they did was that for 15 minutes you can tell your idea how far you are with it, and then for 45 minutes the other ones will boost the idea as much as possible. And the rules are that only with positive and possible things, not with impossible things or that kind of attitude that that's impossible. But only to kind of bring more to the table or ask questions or come with suggestions and to keep kind of a good energy going. So when you are leading this minute version of an advisory ring, which still takes 2.5 hours, so that you still get 7 people to develop their ideas, it's important for you as leaders to keep this positive energy going. So when you feel that people get tired or so, you really need to put in even more. This is very well known for pedagogues. that you cannot let the atmosphere of the group take over. You need to be the one continuing to give, although it might feel a bit like, nothing's really happening right now, so how can we deal with the situation? Another important thing is that when people are not used to working like this, it might take some time before they get going, and we want each idea to get the same amount of time and same amount of feedback. So you might need to be more active during the first case development, not case development, but idea developments, and then the others will probably kind of give more, so you can say maybe less in the coming ideas. And also people are very different. Some people have lots of thoughts, but it takes a while for them to get it out or to formulate themselves, and others are very quick in verbalizing. So that's also good. You will notice after a while that, okay, that person doesn't say much, but you can ask it, did you have a perspective on this? And then it might come. So also to think that, does everybody get a say, or is it always the same two people giving, which is really good. But then you could also say that, let's take a round, so that everybody gives some feedback. That works maybe better in the beginning, also for the shy ones, and then after a while you probably don't have to take the round. So if you want to be really secure that everybody gets a saying, then you can keep the round all the time. But it's kind of nicer energy usually if people kind of throw in positive ideas, and so it depends also on you as a leader. If you are more comfortable with that let's throw in ideas, and you really feel that you get people going, then you can stick to that. So this is something you need to feel with the group. Now we have 7 people and we have 2.5 hours. Let me see, I have counted this. So we have 1 to 3 minutes per person to tell their idea, but absolutely not more than 3 minutes. You need to interrupt people in order so that not the last one becomes without any time or without any feedback. But let's recount this so that I haven't made a mistake. So if you can do it together. If we think that everybody gets, for example, 2 minutes, and they get 15-minute feedback, then we have 70 minutes that we have used. And we have 20 minutes times 7 that we can use plus 10 minutes. So it depends. If you want to have a longer break in the middle, then you need to keep it like quick, one after another, and then a break. Or what we usually do is that we have a 1-minute break between each idea, where people have to get up and just move around and not talk about the idea anymore. That is also like a rule, so that you don't dwell on that one idea. There will be like fruit, and there will be water to drink and so on, and you can go to the toilet, but not talk about that idea anymore. That's a bit tricky. But it's a good way to kind of calm the brain before you start again. And I will go through this before you go for lunch with the groups, but it might be good for you to say it also at the beginning to again state that, okay, this is an advisory reading. The rules are you have 2 minutes time to tell your idea, and I will stop you after 2 minutes, and then everybody can give feedback during 15 minutes for the idea. Then I will stop you, and then we take a 1-minute break where you get up, you don't talk about that idea anymore. We come back and we continue with the next one. So it might be good that you say that before you start so that people remember, for those who haven't done it before.
And then we have, for example, 3 persons, and then you have a bigger break.
Yeah, that's
yes,
possible.
because it's impossible to have many persons
I think it would be best if we had all the same structure, and
Yes.
if we all have assistants in each group, that they would take care of the time. Will it be possible that
there
they
will be a student in each group who can
Is
help
it possible
you.
for them to keep the time?
I
And
checked
then
that.
show the person who's pitching, to show them that okay, you have half a minute left from your 3 minutes or so on.
I think that it's better that we are doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, because the idea was that students could also take part of the work, and then it's quite tricky if you are not familiar with that kind of situations.
So what is the role of the assistant?
And now we have I forgot to say that we have a student participant in each group.
Okay.
We have also a student assistant for at least for each room. But I will check that with Rita if it's for each group. So that if you need
She said
something, she said so. Yes. Okay. So there is one assistant student. We have 40.
Because you said that we are not going to
volunteers.
have any people.
Now we have
Because
40. We have 40 volunteers, students that are helping to keep everything in order. So that if you need something, there is a student
Yes.
in the room that you can ask. Can you go and get some paper? Or we need more water, or
That's
whatever.
good.
So it's a person like that. That person will not sit in the advisory ring group, but will be available for help.
And there will never be more than seven participants per group.
No, there's 7 plus you.
Plus you. Okay.
Because this
Yes.
time you will not develop your own idea. You will be taken care of.
And if there are like 6, we still stick to this time schedule.
Yes, you can.
Those are the advices.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can have, if you have 6, then you don't have one more. Yeah, you have 1 more minute per person. You can do that.
Okay.
But if people
Or take a
want
long
to
break.
stop, or take a long
Yes.
break.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can use the student assistant as a timer if you need to.
We will check, we meet them, they come to this space tomorrow, all 40 of them, and then we will go through everything. So then I will discuss this with Rika also before. But if you have it on your
I think
phone,
it's quite,
yes.
and it's good
And
for you
Mm.
because I have done this before.
Mhm.
So I think it's quite good to have
Mhm.
have the time.
Yes, it's-
That you see it.
Yes,
now
I
it's
see.
like-
So that of course
Yes, you-
I'm not having it all the time like this, but I can check at okay 3 minutes. Well,
Yes.
so then because if there are somebody who is starting to make a long comment, so we have to interrupt and give possibility to other people. So
And a good way to do is by thanking, like do it in a positive way. Thank you. Now can we hear also other comments? You can discuss more after the advisory or so if something is to do it like in a positive way.
and then I usually tell participant that I'm using this. So then it's the ringing, it's over.
Yes.
Because it's so difficult to see, okay, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then you are trying to, like, yes, thank you, and people are continuing. But if there is a sign, so
That's-
usually it's immediately cut.
Yes, this sound is very good. And
Yes.
It's very natural that you are yourself kellokalle.
Yes.
Because it's a natural situation then.
Yes.
For me, it's not easy. So maybe for others it is. For me, it's like I'm like oh, it's happening now. I have these, and now it's the time, and what's the time, and how many minutes was it? And
Okay,
for me, it's a little
then
bit
we can talk
I don't
to
like it,
Yeah.
but I will do it. I will do it if needed.
And if you have
You can see it can
try.
also be difficult for students because maybe they are doing it first time and then they are not familiar with that. So I would not like to.
Okay.
And this is so good method. I have used this also with music directors in a 1-year program, and we have had 10 times, 10 groups, and with so that they have developed their ideas about the project in their organization. And I think also that in the beginning it's very important to motivate them, so that everybody help each other, and you can get good ideas and be positive. And this is very, very nice. And you said very good things that if somebody is talking, you can say thank you. It's very nice way to
kind of,
continue.
to keep the nice energy going.
Yeah.
It also requires a lot of focus from the group, but especially from you, because of this, that you're in charge of the timetable, but you also will get excited about the ideas. So you have to kind of take your energy together like this. Okay, now it's the pause, and then like start again, because it's like, but it's also very energizing. So it's also a nice way to work.
Yes, and it can be challenging because people are telling their ideas to you, because you are in charge.
Yeah.
So they are starting to tell like this, and then you try to have everybody with you.
Look at everybody.
Oh, this is a crazy idea.
Let's leave that comment out on. And then
Do
also,
not pursue it.
and in the beginning, it's good to say that if you want, you can have pen and paper, because usually people who don't take out pen and paper will run after pen and paper after a while. Because also when you hear, for example, your idea, and people start giving you feedback, there's always something that you also can use for your own idea or for your own work. So it might be really nice to write down. And there's so much happening, and it's also good for you to do some write some comments, so you can get back to it when you summarize and say thank you for this, and then the next idea.
And if there's an empty space and no one else is saying anything, then you will have a comment or a question.
Yeah.
For the person who's pitching.
Yeah. And this
Will there be pen and papers in the rooms, or should we just?
I think they should, because people
Yes.
don't have, they have computers.
I
and
know
phones.
that
tablets.
Rika has a couple of boxes of pens, and we can organize so we have the paper there as well. Yes.
And I guess one of the first things that we're saying, that you have to now switch off your the sound from your
Mobile phones.
mobile
Yes.
phones. And
Yes, it's not allowed to take any phone calls during the advice.
Oh, hello, Mom.
Yeah. No way. No. Yeah, that's good to say. And if somebody has a sick child or something and needs to put it on, then it's okay if they say it, of course. They need to state it. But the reason why I wrote 1 to 3 minutes for the idea is that sometimes somebody can tell their idea in 1 minute and they don't need anymore. But some people go on and on and on, and then you need to stop at least after 3 minutes. So it depends. And if people start talking a lot about the background for the idea, it's usually a bit hard to say that it's good to know about the background, but can we get to the idea? And it's like, you don't want to stop them, but at the same time you try to get them to have time to tell their idea.
I mean, you can follow the time and tell them like, there's 1 minute left. So
Yeah.
could you summarize like
Yep.
the core of your idea?
Yeah, and then when you have gone through the whole process, you've had the 3 times ideas, and then you have a longer break, but a long break is no more than 5 minutes still, because the timetable is so strict. And you've done all 7. Then it's good if you have like 1 name per idea, so that you can, when you stop, you can say, in this group we have the idea about the church and the clock and the kids and the factory, and so that you can say that, remind that we have all these 7 ideas, and now we need to choose which idea can pitch for the panel of financiers tomorrow. And we will do it in the way that you write on a piece of paper. Yeah, that's why we have paper in the video. Because you write on a piece of paper which idea you want to be pitched the next day. You collect, we will probably use the post-it notes for this. And then you see that which idea wins. And if you have 2 ideas that have like 3 votes per idea, then you need to do a revote.
And you don't vote because it's the 7 people who vote, right?
Yeah.
So you're facilitating.
Yeah.
Do we have the assignment for everyone so that they can have it? as a paper?
Yes, they have it in their folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an example?
I should have it in my bag actually.
Because
No, I have it in that room. I will go get it.
when
And when if you happens to have 6 participants in the group, and this is just a detail, but if they happen to vote 3-3, what do you do then? Turn a coin or
Coin.
yeah, or something? Or what do you do?
that's difficult.
Yes.
What would you do?
I think I would not do a coin, but I could make a anyway, just pick
But
one. Pick one.
Yes. Or maybe in that case you could use your vote.
That's the other alternative.
Yes.
But then you have some time. But then
But you have to
you
decide
have
it before, not then that when you're 3 and 3. Okay, I'm going to decide that.
Yeah.
This is the text they get. It's also the one that's on the website.
Yeah.
And we will and the one that I tell them before they go into the groups for lunch.
One idea was that I was thinking about was this that the winning idea that is 3,000 euros. Who is it? I mean, is there any a criteria to what kind of an idea it is?
Well, the panel will choose, and in the panel we have Thure Johannesen from Nordisk Kulturkontakt, and she takes care of the youth programs there, Bolt and Nordbook. And then we have Mikael Boguslavski from Boguslavski, who is in charge of research and development at Arcada, and he is part of this Lindstedt fund who gives the 3,000 euros. And then we have Walter Karhu, who takes care of the ESF
Yes.
EU projects. But we have asked them to look for that this cross-sectoral collaboration and preferably ideas that will be kind of inclusive for young people. But it can also be something else because we don't know what will come.
But it's the ideas should focus on what? On what kind of ideas? I mean, what are
including young people in society in different ways, hopefully. But then there is always totally different ideas. And if you have a shy student in your group who says that I don't have any idea, you really need to get an idea out of that person. And then anything will do. Some of the times it's like, where would you like to travel in the world? and then you're like, I'd love to go to Bali. Okay, great. And then we take the Bali idea. So it might be a totally different idea. Like last NordMatch, that was in 2014. There were 2 ideas that the jury were choosing from. One was a silent disco idea, and the other one was developing a museum for economics in Iceland. So it was totally different. But then it was creativity as a theme, and now it's this cross-sector collaboration between youth sector, culture, and sports. So, but we need to give the jury also a bit free hands because the innovation part, what inspires them, it's kind of their choice.
So the idea is that they're looking for ideas about methods or projects or something that would include young people into the society.
Yes, and that's why that's what the cases are for NordMatch. And that's the theme is Together for Inclusion.
And the together thing means that there will be the culture and sports and youth sectors working together.
Yes, and also youths and adults.
Yeah, youth and young adults.
Youth, young adults, professionals, NGOs, like together.
Yes.
Like how can we make this better society together?
But the
So-
idea is that the people whose participation or inclusion we are advancing, those people are from like early teenagers until around 30.
Yeah, 15 to
15 to
29.
29.
That's
Like-
the EU standard for youth for this program that is in the European Social Fund, and that's also Creative and Inclusive Finland as a project is kind of supplying information and pitching ideas and giving feedback to ideas right now. So that's the main theme. But there is also always very different ideas coming up in the advisory rings, and we welcome all ideas. So if there is a strange idea about hedgehogs and old people and it wins in your group, that's fine.
What about if there have come up two ideas that in combination with each other would be a great idea?
Then they need to make it one. They cannot pitch both as one. They need to combine it and decide who will pitch it.
That's really good. Because usually these.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so it's one option that we can have in
Absolutely.
the back of our head. Could we suggest
or
that?
if the whole group makes one
Yeah.
during the party.
Yeah. During the party.
Yes.
Okay,
But then you need to
basically-
know how to use the 3,000 euros. Is it to have the group meet again and develop the plans or what?
So
How basically how can the society be more inclusive for 15 to 29-year-olds?
Yeah, that's basically the
Yeah.
task.
Inclusion and participation.
Yeah.
But basically, you don't stop an idea because it doesn't
No.
fit
Yeah,
in that. No, it's just
In the advisory ring as a method, any idea fits.
yes.
But in this conference concept, those are the ones that are really, we hope that will emerge. And we also hope that the cases that they've heard during the first morning, that will inspire them to more collaboration. And we hope that they will find new colleagues, both from the cases, from the advisory ring group, and during the whole conference. That's the main idea, is that people will meet and realize that, oh, I didn't know I had colleagues in Denmark and in the sports sector and whatever, so that they kind of have this realization. And when we work like this, you really support each other. So it means also that the one who is pitching knows that I have these 6 or actually 7, because it's you as an advisory ring group leader. I have these 7 people supporting me pitching this idea. So you don't feel so alone when you're pitching, although you might be unexperienced. It might be the student from your group that gets to do it. So then that person knows that when it comes up there, at least 7 people are
Go
rooting for
Tigers.
you.
Cheerleaders. Yay.
And
Our team.
a new thing for this NordMatch is that we will be streaming the cases, but also the pitching session. And this can lead to that some people don't want to pitch it, so the whole world hears their idea, because they might feel that they lose it and somebody will take it from them. So you might have to be prepared for that. That happened in 2012 during NordMatch, that the person with the idea that was going to pitch the next day was starting to call all his kind of colleagues and people who were planning this together. That can I tell this? Can I tell this? Do we need to keep it a secret? And his colleague said that you cannot tell it like openly. It was okay in the advisory ring group, because you can, in the beginning of the group, you can say that it's everything that is said here is confidential, unless you say that it's okay for you to spread my idea. So that's also important to check with the group when you start. So it's good to know, and of course I will say it before, but if you know that how the counts came out when you chose the idea to be pitched, if that person says later at the party or in the morning in the pitching session that no, I can't do it, then we need to know who is the next in line from your group. And preferably straight after the advisory reading, so that next person has time to prepare in that case. But usually the one who's chosen is very happy to teach. So that's usually the way it goes.
How many groups were we?
We will know after this because Riikka is combining the list that the people who have officially put their names into the registration and the different students group that are coming, because then we have as groups, so she is making the whole list. But we think it's around 160. And then how many have stated that they are in the advisory groups. So we are prepared to have 20, but we might need 15. And then I will also talk to you that some, like said here from the he said he can be like an extra advisory leader if we need a lot of them. But we definitely need you. And you.
Yes.
Are there any questions now regarding the way of work in that advisory?
Yes, because the last part was a small evaluation.
The last part,
Yes.
And in the last part, when you go through the group and you kind of remind people which ideas you had in the group, and it might be that someone said, wait, how was it? So it might be that every person needs to say in one sentence the idea again, and then you vote, and then you have a winner, and then you also maybe which I hadn't decided on this, if we first do the evaluation and then maybe it's best to first do the evaluation and then
Voting.
voting.
No, I think that the voting is a part of.
Okay,
Yes.
the voting is a part.
Yes.
Okay, we can get back to that. But after one idea has been chosen, I want you to ask for feedback from the advisory ring group. That how did the work feel? What was good? What could be improved? How about you? What did you think? So that you could also state that down. And here is the paper that you will have in your bag that is waiting in the advisory ring room. It will not be there when you register. Your bag will be there in the room with the advisory ring. And there you will also have a piece of chocolate. So in the middle of the pitching, when you feel that you need an extra boost, then you can take up the chocolate and hand it around. So
There's a question this side.
This is voting.
Everyone is filling in this one.
no, you
Okay.
fill it in
I
what
fill.
everybody says.
Okay, so I asked them, what did you think?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
You, you can take a round and say
Yes.
that how did it
Indeed.
feel and what
Okay,
did
that-
you
I
like
have some
and what
minutes.
would you
Yes.
So it's good to have a couple of minutes.
Just one practical thing, when I did this some years ago, I don't think that I had a good record on the name of the project and the name of the person. So I remind myself, and maybe I can tell about it, because you take out the name and what do they call the project they are talking about. Because some I was thinking about this and that, and then I don't know what was the name of it. So they
That's good. You can also ask in the beginning that can you please say your name and the name of your idea.
yeah.
And then if they change the name of the idea during the process, that's fine. But then you can at least put that down.
Should they have a post-it so that they can write it down and then put it here?
That's a good idea.
Yes, because then everybody can see it all the time, and then we can pick up and have
that's good.
Yeah.
Every name.
And then it's
idea.
easier for you also to say that these are the ideas we have,
Yes.
and then when you choose, then it's easy to take it. And
Yes.
yeah,
A little
That's a
bit
good idea.
bigger one. Yes.
And then one question we have, they have voted one idea to pitch. Is there final pitching? Is it also about 3 minutes? How to prepare for the final?
it depends how many groups we have.
Okay.
I cannot answer that yet because we have a limited amount of time for the panel, and the panel also needs to decide which one wins. So I can answer that question tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we have the testing of ideas on a panel of financiers is from 1:30 to 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we need, we probably have, I didn't like it when we had only 1 minute because some people didn't get the right things out. You knew,
It's too short.
many people knew about the idea that it was good, but then when you're up there on the stage and this is a really huge auditorium, you know that it's been filmed and streamed, it might be that you lose perspective the first 20 seconds and then, yeah, it's a pity. So what I want is for them to be like 2 minutes. And I hope it will be, we will be have enough time for that regarding how many pitches we have. But I will know that tomorrow.
2-3 minutes. And then of course jury can talk a lot.
Yeah, but they cannot.
No, but
I
you
know
are,
they
taking, you are taking care of that.
Because last time we had 4 people in the jury. We had 4 now, but Mesatia couldn't come, unfortunately, which would have fitted so well to this theme.
Yes, that's pity.
But now when we have 3, it's also easier for them to give a short comment each, and that will not take us long.
Yes.
So in that way it helps us to have 3. Yes. And when the winner of the pitching contest is announced, that's also the end of the whole conference. So that's the last thing that happens. And then we will have Sebe is making a kind of a diploma where we write in the name of the person and the case. And Mika from Bogoslavski from the panel will give that. And then Anders, as head of the Arts and Business, will give a bouquet of flowers. And then we give the thank yous and so for the conference. And after that, we will have 1 student per study visit group that will, for the people who want to go for study visit, that will help them to get to the right place. So that's the kind of the structure of the day. But what I forgot to say was on Friday morning, for those who want, those who are going to pitch probably will come, but it's also open for anybody who wants. We have a pitching workshop which I will lead from 9:15 to 10:45. And it will be in the swimming pool. there is a space in Arcade called the swimming pool where they used to have a swimming pool. Where they did a lot of training for the students in the social field, but now they have removed the swimming pool. There's no water there, but it's a space in the cellar, which is quite a big room, and at least 3 of the advisory rings groups will be there, and the pitching workshop will be there also in the morning. But also when you go with your group to where your group is going to have the advisory ring, there will be a student leading you to the right room. So you don't have to wander around Arcada looking for a room.
Get lost. Never coming back.
So that means, I have to discuss this with Rika, and that means that they will probably sit and eat with you as well.
But the swimming pool pitching, you remember the Oulu case? They made the pitching in the sea in winter time.
Polar bear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you had to go into the
Icy water.
Icy water.
And you had as much time as you could be there.
Yeah. And the people who take like go for a meeting. Well, you have a lot of experiences.
Yes.
But I heard one very interesting and nice example. There were 2 days workshop, and they had groups, and it was not idea of one; it was idea of group. And then they developed the idea for 2 days and 1 night, and they had food and drinking there, and somebody didn't sleep at all because they were so excited to develop the idea. And after these 2 days, they had pitching, and then there was a prize. What is the best idea? But they had to question that how they develop a new robot to solve a problem. They had a problem in the beginning, and then they had to code the robots to solve the problem, and it was very interesting. It really, it was like group developing. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, we only have 2.5 hours. But now, let me check the time. What time do we have now?
10:02.
10:02. So I thought that we would try to develop one idea together, so we get a feel of how it can be. So who has an idea? Now you can use your colleagues to develop an idea, maybe an application you're working on.
Yes, well, I can throw in. Yes, I'm actually working on an application. We're trying. Okay, so the idea is that asylum seekers do not have much to do during daytime, and nobody has the responsibility for them. And then there is the risk of extremism and suicide and depression and blah blah blah. So the idea is that we would create an education or like a program for asylum seekers, which would be like from Monday to Friday and in Arvis. So they would go to the Arvis every day as normal people, going to the integration course. But the content of the program would be produced by Finland Swedish associations. So the idea is that, for instance, through let's just say Marta Association could talk about learn about Finnish food culture and products and how to cook them and where to find these products and so on. So by using the activities, what associations do, we would from there form coach the associations in doing in producing making it into an education about culture, history, society in Finland. And there would also be these interactive elements in the course where, for instance, sharing of festivity traditions, and then those courses would be also open for Finnish people to take part in. So this is basically the idea.
Great.
Great idea.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And it took you the 1.5 minutes to tell it.
Okay, there are other elements in the project,
Yeah.
but I decided that I would concentrate on this.
Yes. So now, please, the floor is open to give more ideas to Anjali.
You said it was a program for 1 week.
No, the idea is that it would be we would do this for a whole academic year, follow the Arvis,
Yes.
From September to December and from January to mid-April.
Okay.
Could you also have maybe politicians plan part of the program?
Mm-hmm. And in what way do you think?
I just thought that maybe if they could have it doesn't need to be more than 1 day during one semester, but if they could actually think what those who are, there are probably some working group that are working with the question of asylum seekers. For example, in Riksdagshuset. And if they would get to plan some part, that would be kind of concrete, something that they are thinking about this problem,
Yes.
but now they could come with some solution. I don't know, it's just a
Yes.
thought.
Yes, we could invite Migri, for instance, who is
Yes.
producing the services that if they would like to try out a small info or something in that. Yes.
Yeah, I really like the fact that there's also the element of the asylum seekers teaching Finns something.
Yes.
Yes, and there's the active part that they also get to teach something. It's not like they just come somewhere and they're like, and well, you said there will be interaction, but they will not be like the receiving part, but they will also give something from their culture and from their knowledge. Like, would it be possible for them to create a platform for them to make workshops and decide on the topics, for example, to give them the opportunity to do something for the benefit of others and kind of use their skills as well?
That's a good
Yes.
idea.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes, it could be, and that could then open up that it could be anything. At least in here in Lukon, I think they tried in Kirkkonummi that they were teaching the usage of apps to asylum seekers and then towards senior citizens.
That's right. Yeah.
So that it came from that idea that there would be something like that, but it could be some other skill that they perhaps have or.
And they would also be potential volunteers for these NGOs in the long term.
Yes.
So they would also be involved in the Finnish tradition of voluntary work. And
Yes.
also become active citizens from the very beginning. It's very interesting.
Yes.
How would you document this, have a documentation about these good things going on and sharing them?
I was thinking that in order to be able to produce this again, there would be like an educational planner for the project who would be doing like this small kind of opetussuunnitelma, like write down that we would plan that there could be maybe 6-week sequences when like a certain type of associations take part. So that could be like the 1 6-week focuses on some area of Finnish culture or sharing of culture or job seeking or whatever. And then we would try out these combinations that we would write these small plans for, so that when the project ends, then Armis can maybe recreate this but there is already like a set kind of like a malli, like model for it.
I think that's really nice if Arbis could do and be a coordinator, because there are many organizations who could be. Because I was thinking about our organization, we have a project about how to identify competencies.
Okay.
Because they are not one group, they are a really big group with different kind of people, different kind of competencies. They are people who have a very high academic education and probably people who maybe cannot read properly. So I think that the first work would be somehow make those groups.
Yes, because there is an element in the project about that we would also educate the counselors here, and we would recruit an Arabic speaking counselor, and that before they take part in the course, we would also map out. They would have an individual talk with a counselor. In order so that we would at least know if they speak English, if they can read or write, and a little bit like who they are. And then one another idea is that it's the only thing is it can only lead to this education for those who would like to take part in a Swedish integration training program or to learn to read and write in Swedish. Then those courses are also available for this group of people, because Armis doesn't have any regulations of who can join.
That's right.
But the problem Armis has is that they can't give counseling to these people because there is no funding for for them
So the cooperation here would be good then.
in counseling.
One,
Yes.
one question, did you already have a cooperation with Story Sharing Universe?
No, but I was thinking that yes, they are already working in asylum seeking centers.
Yeah.
So I think that they could be one of those interactive elements.
That's good
That
because
would be
they
good.
are really good at getting people together, sharing their stories, their personal stories. And
Yes.
so it's a Universum, the theater group,
Oh, yes.
Universum.
Okay.
So they organize the Story Sharing Universe. It's called their
Oh.
Story Sharing Cafes. And then they have people from different backgrounds who have come to Finland and they tell their story, and then anyone who comes there can tell a story of their own experience. And they have a really good method for that, and they got a big grant now from, I think it was Konesset,
Yes. Yes.
to continue that.
Mhm.
And that's a really nice way
Mm.
to work. So if that could be combined to this somehow, I think
Yes.
it would be really good.
Yeah, I think, and story sharing, they started off actually doing it in Artemis in one of the integration training programs.
Yes.
And from there on, so many of the students there have become like the experts, the
Yeah.
ones who go around now, and some
Yeah.
have even got a little bit of employment from it.
Yes.
So that's I think it's a great thing. But what I'm more nervous about here, my biggest element of nervousness has to do with how to get these associations to commit.
Yes, that's a problem.
Yes.
And
So-
I know that, for example, in Kirkkonummi, when I was on the board of Lukkan there was a lot of interest from the different youth organizations that make up the whole Lukkan organization there, that they need new people on their boards and as voluntary workers, and they cannot get new people and not young people. So we challenged them to take at least one newly comer. Because there are 63 languages spoken in Kirkkonummi right now. So take one on your board. And that could be kind of a challenge, a competition somehow in this also, to have all the NGOs to have one asylum seeker on their board. Is that possible? Can you do that? Or
Yeah, because then we
Or
don't
a-
know how long they're going to stay.
an immigrant?
Yeah.
An immigrant?
Yes.
Someone who's already here, to get the new ideas, to get the
Have you thought about sports? I think that
Mhm.
some sport that doesn't need so much equipment, like volleyball or basket or something like that, and because if people are coming from very different countries, and so that could be a way of creating some kind of community among the participants, and then you can involve the sports organizations.
Yeah.
That's one. Okay.
Yes, football would probably
Football.
be popular or something.
Volleyball or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's also possible to take the organization that are educating young people to lead sports, to have them to do their training, because they need training, and they go to training several times a year in schools or in sports associations. So this could be a training place also for the young people, and they have
That's
done
true.
they have
That's a
done
good
that
idea.
with they have done that in this Mun juttu meidän tulevaisuus, which is a great project also to take ideas from. They have a seminar, a last seminar here in November in Lahtis, and there they have from Vierumäki, the students there, they have taken young immigrants into the woods and taught them how the Allemansrätten works in Finland, and how to make a campfire and how to make your stick to do the sausage thing. And
How
all
to
these different things.
survive.
And then you have young people teaching young people. And there were two who came to the steering group and said one was from Iraq and one was from Spain. And this Spanish girl said that these 2 days with these Finnish young people in the forest, they were the first 2 days that gave her the confidence that she could actually at some point trivas in Finland, be comfortable living in Finland,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
quite.
those students, that could be a good idea. Gada has the sports students, don't they?
Yes,
Solvalla.
and Solvalla, which is Folkhälsan.
Yeah, so maybe in contact and early enough with also those organizations would be good. Yes.
And do you have some kind of funding for this idea?
We're applying from the Asylum Migration Integration Fund in 1 or 2 weeks' time. I think the deadline is. Yes.
I think that Taike also has something like to do with, but I don't know if this the application period is over. But there's something to do with culture and immigrants.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they do. And Kone is very receptive to very different project ideas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
it's
it doesn't
good
work
to
with
come-
one, but we can try for another.
Yes.
And
Maybe,
if
yes.
like several, you could apply for funding for a certain part.
Yeah.
And then you could
Yeah.
have like several organizations funding perhaps. Hopefully, this is a great
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it's really
Yeah, me too. Also.
And maybe a reach to education. If there are many
Yes.
education organizations, so
Mm.
then in that case maybe I was thinking of practical also.
Yeah, and I was thinking when you said that you need to, and you also said that when you look which competences there is in the group of the asylum seekers, then to find, like for example, if you have a director there, to have these network meetings with directors, Finnish, Swedish, whatever immigrant directors, to have like a cafe, like for them to meet colleagues from this country, for each and everyone, no matter what they have done in the country they come from, that they meet colleagues. I think that is the best way to sometimes find a job or to boost your own identity in this new country, that you can talk about something that you are good at.
And that also education for us in Finland to understand that there are a lot of
Like there was in Kirkkonummi, just one example, a woman who was really good at doing mosaic. And she came from, I can't remember which country now. No, I can't remember, I'm sorry, but where they have lots of mosaic all over the place and where people still, like she showed pictures of when she does people's bathrooms or a fountain in the city, and so amazing stuff. And we don't have people like that here. So how can you get that person to meet the right people to kind of get that?
Start their own company. and start doing it.
yes, really interesting.
But that's true that it could, like, it not only be the mapping in the beginning, it could also like be like that the first is about mapping competencies and figuring out what do these people know and can, and then maybe from that then take in later on, or if it's possible even in the same period, in like that they would have a cafe or a meeting time, where we would invite people from the same profession that they could talk.
The personal contact with. That's a bit like the fika concept. To kind of really find maybe someone who wants to be their mentor also from that group.
Yeah, maybe like we were thinking about the mentor things, we were thinking that these are people that we don't know how long they're going to stay.
No, but does it matter?
And but it's just it can be very, very tough to be a mentor. So we were a bit. That was one thing that we made.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Thank you for your.
Thank you. 15. This was now 15 minutes, just to get a feel of how long the time is. You told the idea in 1.5 minutes, then I let it roll for another 1.5, and then when the 3 minutes were out, I put the 15 minutes. So you got now 16.5 minutes of kind of feedback from us.
I would like to have simple, because this is too complicated to have 1 minute and then 2 minutes. I would say 15 minutes for one person, and then if you use 1 minute or if you use 3 minutes, so it's your own.
Yeah, but you have all in all like 20 minutes with pauses and with the idea and with the feedback.
20 minutes.
Yeah, but you have 3 minutes to tell your idea, and you get 15 minutes feedback, and then you need to have the break. So all in all, it's but so if somebody is, I could have done it that way, that when you were finished pitching your idea, I could have started the 50 minutes straight away.
Yes.
But then I still have the 3 minutes rolling here.
But then again, if you would like to have the longer break in between, and you see that
Yeah.
everyone is doing like a 1.5 minute pitch, then you
Yeah.
can count that, okay, well, after 4 pitches, we
Yeah.
can have 5 minute pops instead
Yeah.
of 1 minute pops.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Yeah, so let's do it
Yes.
that way then. When the idea has been pitched, then you get 15 minutes feedback, and that's when you start
Yes. Sounds good.
stop the clock. Thank you for sharing your idea. It's a good idea. Does it have a name?
Yes, meningsfull vardag. Well, it was what did I figure out? It was a meaningful weekday or purposeful weekday. I can't remember. Work day or weekday, I think it was, yes. But yeah, that's the working name of it.
A day of purpose or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. But I just want to, you know, like
It doesn't translate into
No.
English that well. It's better
Mm.
in Swedish and Finnish.
Yeah, I have to think about the name still in English, but I'm going to write the project plan anyway in Swedish.
Yeah, meningsfull vardag is good. Yes.
Yeah, well, it was just this short and simple, I think, description of that. Yeah, well, the whole idea is to bring people out from those asylum seeking centers where it's quite a, you know, difficult environment to be in all the time, and then
Yeah.
to get them into a space where it's safe and it's people who are, you know, leading normal lives and then treating them as normal people. But we shall see if the Migri wants to know each project that gets financing, and they don't agree on 2 educational programs. So
Yes.
they don't want you can give to asylum seekers like stuff such as a little bit language, a little bit culture, a little bit like this, but you can't.
Okay.
It should be
That's a
somehow.
whole program with points.
You're not too purposeful.
Purpose for every day, but not too much purpose.
Yes. And I think that's a bit. I thought it was a bit like Gestapo about this, because they actually gave as advice, or they said to me in the Ministry of Interior when I was presenting this idea that they have from Migri, the head of the head of like this asylum seeking service unit has asked that each project needs to be consulted with him. So they wanted me to be in touch with, you know, a specific, like not anybody at the head of the, you know, the department.
Yes.
So I thought that was a bit weird. That yeah.
And it's very good result if you can create a situation, peaceful and good situation, so that they feel them comfortable
Yeah.
and relaxed,
Of course.
and so that they are open to speak and to contact.
I understand we are not allowed to continue.
No, we should not talk
Ideas.
about
No,
that
no,
idea
no,
anymore.
1 minute of something else.
This was so
But this is a good case because
Yes,
this
very
is going
good,
to happen.
very good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
But I was thinking about the video because,
Yeah.
sorry, but I'm doing so much this kind of.
Yes.
So, do you have copies already as paper?
What would you like to add?
I would like to take off
Aha, what would you?
because if you look at this one, so there is 10 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes, and then 15 minutes.
Okay, so
and-
you want me to take out the example?
Yes,
then?
because
Okay.
this is an assignment you have in your hand when you start. So I would like to have only bullet points that
Yeah,
we
because
start
I
with this
wrote
and
that
this.
mainly for the web page, so
Yes,
that
and I
people
think it's good for
come in there. But you're right that if you want to see that what was it about, just before you start.
Yes.
It's better not to have the history, but only the task.
Yes, and
I can
also
change that. It's
also
not
the voting maybe, because the voting is not here.
the voting. That's right. And that's not
Voting and coming
evaluation.
up with the name for your
Yes.
idea,
Yes,
and that should
Yeah.
maybe happen latest at the end when everyone is saying like
Yeah.
we go through the ideas, or then you can just come up with the name of the idea in the beginning if you have it
And
already.
change it, yeah, because you put the papers
Yeah.
with the idea, and then you can have a working name, and then at the end you decide will that stay or will you give it a new name. Maybe somebody else came up with a better name for your idea.
That's true.
yes.
So we leave only the times used in the advisory ring group
Yes,
here
so
at NordMatch. We put in that you need the name for your idea and that there's going to be
Voting
a voting
and a little
then-
bit feedback.
and feedback, yeah.
Feedback
and
from the
then-
participants for
Yes.
NordMatch.
Yes.
Mm.
And also maybe that
feedback
we
from, sorry, what was it?
that there is not going to be feedback about their idea, so that they won't like mix this up.
Yeah,
With,
yeah.
I think that's just for us to know, like us as like the advisory group, advisory ring like leaders or facilitators. I think that's more important for us to remember to get the feedback than for the person
Yes.
to know that they are going to give feedback. Because they might mix it up in their heads.
Mhm.
Yeah, feedback for the
that they get
idea.
feedback for their idea, and that they have to give feedback to
Yeah, yeah.
about this,
Okay,
Yes, it can be too complicated.
Because then we also need the feedback, which we need to talk about. The feedback, what it should look like, that people fill in after the whole NordMatch is finished.
Yes.
The questions for them. And they will get the Monday after
Yes.
via email.
Why do we gather this the feedback now if everyone is getting?
Because people will forget, because there are so many different parts of NordMatch. And here you have worked so intensely that we think that you will get like the direct feedback there, and then people will think and they will give the feedback after a couple of days, and it might be different.
And at the same time, we can tell them that they are going to have the feedback application, because usually people are not filling in.
Yeah, it's good that they fill in the feedback form.
One more thing about this paper. Would it be possible to get the reminder about the pitching workshops on Friday morning?
Yeah, I
Yes.
thought about that.
And then the time of the actual pitch, and
Yeah.
perhaps a short note that they will be streamed.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
So if anyone forgets to say it
Yeah.
Yes.
in the advisory ring, then it will be on the paper.
Yes.
It's still possible.
So it was 3 things: reminder of pitching workshop, the time of the pitching, yeah,
And that it will be streamed.
and yes, I will.
Good.
Good.
Awesomeness.
Do you have any more questions?
Yes. And so, because the pitching workshop is starting at 9:15, then to remind them that all have to be there at 15 minutes after 9.
Yes, if
Yes,
they want
yes.
to take part in that.
Yes.
But
And they don't know what is the exact time. They just come and.
But that is
know.
that is the workshop, yes, and then
Yes.
the pitching
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
ideas for the panel is later. That
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
workshop in the morning. Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Very nice.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you that you will be
Yes.
advisory ring leaders. It's really impressive.
Of course.
And thank you
Yeah,
for asking.
We are going to steal all those ideas.
No.
Do you have video on?
Yes. You just stop it.
We will be held accountable.
Yeah.
It's still on.
Oh.
And I don't think I will panic so much about the time.
No.
I will be able now to do it. Perhaps.
Good.
But it felt
Yeah.
quite okay, the 15 minutes, I think, for
Yes,
the
I think
reflection.
15
Yeah.
is good. Yes.
Yeah.
And as Anki said, people are so different. So for someone it can be that it's quite a lot. And then there are somebody who is
Some people
talking
It's so personal, yes.
Yeah, and
But if it's,
Now you
if
will
it
get
feels that people are just running out of things to say, then should we feel people continue to keep doing this?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard that,
You just turn the camera.
yeah, fair.
Mhm.
And,
thank you.
Bye-bye.